Now let's talk about the annual re-enrollment, because
Sure.
I know a lot of people don't like change or don't want to be bothered with change. And is it your recommendation that you look at your plans every year to see whether that's, that plan is still the best one for you? And actually, maybe we should start with when somebody comes to you, how do you determine which plan, Part B and which Part D and then supplemental coverage? How do you decide which is the best for that person? And then let's talk about the re-enrollment period.
Okay. So if a client comes to me, the first thing would be to do a needs analysis and basically have that conversation about Medicare, how the two different options work, how they are different. That sometimes means that people are drawn to one or the other also because of premium. The monthly premium, if you go with original Medicare, some Medicare supplement or Medigap plan, and a prescription plan can be more expensive. It also increases on your birthday each and every year because we use more care as we get older. Most of those plans are based on age, so you get an increase each and every year on your birthday, versus the Medicare Advantage plan that stays the same. So someone at age 65 or 95 would pay the same rate for the Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is cheaper each and every month, but you have a copay, so you're kind of paying as you go, a copay or a co-insurance for each of the services that you do. On the Medicare supplement side, you may have a low cost or no cost when you go in for services, but you're paying a much higher rate each month, so it's almost like you're prepaying for the care. So that conversation, and then of course, if someone is considering the Medicare Advantage, we need to make sure that their medications are covered under the plan, their providers are covered under the plan, and they know how it's going to work, so they have a clear expectation. Bottom line, education.
Okay, so education comes into play when we're talking about the annual re-enrollment period, because this is where you actually look at your clients and say, okay, it's best to stay on this plan, or maybe it's time for you to switch to this plan. And I know a large number of people just sit tight and don't make any changes with their plan. So why is that important that you actually review it every year?
Well, sometimes staying on the plan that you have is easier than going to something new that it's unknown. And that may be the reason why some folks don't change, but I do definitely recommend that you look at your annual notice of change. Each and every year you get that ANOC letter or annual notice of change. Whether it comes by email or comes in the mail, please do open it up and take a look at it. You don't want any surprises next year in January and it's too late to make changes when your plan, if you had a prescription drug plan, for example, we had some last year that were lower priced, and as of January the 1st, they tripled in price. If you didn't notice that on your letter, oh my goodness, were you in for a surprise come January 1? So it's important to take a look at that. Make sure they didn't take the medication that you normally have to take or need to take. They didn't take that off their list. They didn't raise the price on you. They didn't make any big major changes. So it's always good to review that, because their due diligence is sending you that letter, and after that they're done. If you don't look at it and make a change, if you need to, it is, up to you.
Okay, and people's lives change also. I mean,
Absolutely.
there may be new medications that may or may not be covered with the old plan. I mean, you basically ask for a list of medications and then you price them out and see how the cost differences from plan to plan.
Yes, that's right. So that's a good point. I call it my little calculator, but I plug in all those prescriptions, the dosage and how frequently they're taken. It will show me then what the cost of the medication is anticipated to be. Now, it's not absolute, but it's anticipated cost. And we take a look at that to make sure that the plan that you are on or are thinking about joining does cover the medications at the lowest rate that you can get. That's an important piece. And then, of course, are there any deductibles that you have to pay and those kinds of things before your medications are covered? Again, another good point that cost makes a difference. You know, you stay with the same plan, but they moved the medication that you're on, they moved it up a tier, and then next year you have to pay more for it instead of paying what you were paying in the current year. So it's important to take a look at that. We've got some new changes. I don't know if you want me to talk about those.
Yes.
With Biden.
With the Inflation Reduction Act?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, let's talk about those. Yes.
So in 2023, there's a couple of changes, minor, that will be taking place. The first one is going to be that all the vaccinations will be included, at least on a tier 1. And that means zero copay for many folks. That includes the flu shot, pneumonia shot, COVID shot, and now the shingles shot. That's a real exciting piece for people who haven't had their shingles vaccine, because it, in the past, was pretty pricey. Now you can get that shingles shot vaccine at a much lower price, maybe even zero copay. So well worth the while to get that done. The other thing that's happening in 2023 is a cap on insulin. So there will be no more than $35 copay per month per medication for folks who take insulin. Some plans already had that in the past, but now it's for everyone. They have to cap that cost in 2023. 2024, there's a few other changes, but the big one comes in 25, where they cap the out-of-pocket cost for prescription drugs to $2,000 for the entire year. And that's going to be a big one for folks who are taking a lot of medications or very expensive medications.
But that's so some of the biggest changes are in 2025.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.